All right, I'm trying to cover the majors now. When we do the 5, we go root, 2, 3, and then instead of using 4, we just call 4 the 3 shape within that cage, and then 5 is 5. All right, so that's important to know, and that's going to come into play. So the subject of this, the crux of this, and this should be fun, so let's try to keep it fun and easy. Hey, look, the computer's slowing down. Go to the sidebar to speed up. Ignore this. I don't know what that is. Oh God, that's that horrible thing that shows the national debt going up like, astronomically. It's horrible. But believe it or not, they say Japan has got a bigger relative national debt than us, but they're doing better. So that's strange. If they have a high economy, I guess they can float that much more debt. So don't worry, fear not. Start cage from any string for cage bound arpeggios. Alright, so that's fine. Let's get it back into where it belongs. Alright, and I'll zoom out. So we talked about this, the difference between, these are cage bound patterns, okay? This is the majors, this is the minors, alright? Now, what I was showing you before with this guy is start cage from any string works for cage bound vertical arpeggios. We had quite a discussion about how this works. So you do an A shape from the 3rd string, it'll turn into a D shape. As long as you follow the exact cage pattern, when you hit the tuning warp, you just warp up that caged pattern as if the A shape was a pattern. Even though it went through the warp, we're going to play those same intervals, but starting from the 3rd string on the G, which, because you just can't go straight up to the 3rd string and start an A shape from the F. You can do that, but you're going out of key. We want to stay in key, so we have to start it from the same note in a different part. That's why it works. So that's your G. The G is the only thing with a perfectly warped S2L on top. Okay. So let's see if it works. Once you fit you fit the arpeggios into, because remember, that is a pentatonic scale and the octave. Of course, a C major triad's gonna fit into that. So a 3-note chord fits into a 5-note pentatonic. Alright, so that's why they're always going to fit into the caged. So if we can start the cage from any string, then we can start the arpeggio from any string. Alright, so that in itself seems like, hey, we're done. I don't mean to sound like that really smart fellow in physics. We're done. But let's look at the examples, find out, and I'm sorry I got a little confused before about the things you have to keep track of with a minor, which is, what's its relative, what is it the 6th of, and what is it relative to the root of the key. Could be the 3rd, could be the 2nd, it could be the 6th. So that, it's got 2 qualities, and you'll see how these chords spell out. Alright, D major 1 goes to E minor 2, following a pentatonic scale. I have no idea what that means, but I know it makes sense, because when I made this chart, I made it perfectly, logically. Root Dorian. Let's see if we can get anything out of this. So we've got a root Dorian cage bound root arpeggio 2-4-6, 2-4-6, and then we've got an extra inversion or two because we've got it doubled. Every time you do two notes on a string, you get an extra inversion, so now we have two extra inversions. Alright, you know how to play that, right? You know how to play that. I'd probably just play it right off the, I'll do it down here, I'd play it right off the chart. Like that, okay? Alright, I gotta adjust my fan. Alright, I had to cool down, all of a sudden it warmed up for some reason, I don't know why. So, that is the cage-bound Dorian root, alright? And this is just some attributes that it has. It's part of the D root, so this is 1-4-5, so it's D-G-A, right? D-shaped root, okay? So, all a D-shaped root is that pentatonic starting on the 5th. I think I have to turn the fan down. It's too noisy. Too noisy. Okay, and then the G-shaped root, you know, would start on the 6th. And the A-shaped 5th starts on the, the A starts on the 5th. Okay, but I don't think that's the way it goes. So let's get it going. What we're going to do is, and I can see what happened here. I don't understand why I put this here, but I know it made sense. And when I made it, I said, you better know this makes sense. All right. It's a G-shaped 4th, so that's F in the key of C. Let's work with the key of C. So this Dorian arpeggio here, 2-4-6, 2-4-6, 2-4, is exactly here. It fits into a G shape, but that is a G-shaped 4th. Remember, G always has the root doubled. Okay, and it has what, the root over here too? Okay. It has G has the root on the bar. They call it the bar, but we know it goes down here more too. Now don't be fooled by this 7, because this is a G-shaped F. This 7 pertains to the root down here. We're on a different part in the fretboard there. The key of G would have this 7th up here, you know. Anyway, that does not warp over. That's why, you know, you can't play a G major diatonic scale from the open position. You won't get the F sharp, which is the 7th G. That's not the same 7. Alright, so what are we going to do here? Where does it say we're going to go over here? We're going to try to get something going here. Alright, here it is. It says arpeggio must fit into pentatonic scale exactly. Root Dorian fits into G4 major parent. We just talked about that, right? Dorian root arpeggio starting from 2nd string fits into C4. So that, you know, it's our same start cage from, you know, any string, and it becomes G goes up to a 4th. C is the only one that goes up a 3rd. So it goes up a 4th from the 2nd string. From the rendering chart, start G cage shape from string 2, follow the new warp shape, makes a C shape. Okay, so let's look at what that 4 became. Remember we had our root Dorian, right? Now we've moved that root Dorian up 1 to the 2nd string. And when we follow that same root Dorian up to here, and in effect we also take it backwards, so we work it back down. That's what I usually do when I'm doing caged with a new cage shape. Let's say A shape starting from the 2nd string.